But those are the top stories, but that by no means is the end, particularly for the conversation around it. And Jeffrey, of course, joins me as we walk through some of the talking points of those top stories. Jeffrey?
Yeah, exactly. So, of course, the big one is going to be the Yahaya, Bello, EFCC. And we're seeing the drama playing out. I call it judicial ping pong. That's what I call it. Because, like, everybody's tossing here and there. You know, the EFCC is saying this, Yahaya people are saying this. It's, well, it's all what democracy is all about. But the truth is that, you know, the EFCC is pursuing a case against Yahaya Bello, and they've decided that, look, you must come and answer for this. But there are all kinds of litigations and adjudication going on back and forth. We're going to explore all of this right here on the program.
Looks like everyone is just lawyered up at this point. So how about we just start with that Yahaya Bello case against the EFCC? You may have heard what the chairman of the EFCC said, how he sounded, even giving us some background information as to the process up until this point. So let's bring in our very first guest on the show this morning to just get his insights on this particular situation. We're joined by Mr. Wagu, who's a convener, Say No campaign, is chairman partners for electoral reform as well. He joins us virtually on the program this morning. Good morning, Mr. Wagu. Welcome to the Morning Brief.
Good morning, Kayode. Nice talking to you again.
Well, absolutely. But, you know, the circumstances are quite tricky, particularly with the back and forth between the EFCC and former Governor Yahaya Bello. So let's get right into it. Some say, I mean, hearing the chairman talk about what he did, calling Mr. Bello personally, offering to even you know, interview him in his office, taking him through his gate. Some will say he went over and above. Some will say, well, he's not special. That's Mr. Bello is not special. So why go through all of that process? But what is your reading at this material time, Mr. Wagu?
Well, Kayode, it's okay to unpack first the fact that we're dealing with a very disturbing and shameful situation, where people who have occupied very exalted offices in our country will disrupt civil conduct and behavior and become a fugitive to the law. Yahaya Bello, like the chair of the EFCC said, he was hiding under immunity. Ordinarily, he should have been probably arrested before now, but so he's done with his term, and the next thing is to answer to the things that he did while in office. It's as simple as that. Even with our not too strong, you know, prosecutorial system, he's still not willing to make himself available. What would it have cost him? Get to EFCC, get detained for a few days, and then get the normal bail that they get, and then that's it. And then he starts going there for another 2-3 years and all that. As we speak now, how many convictions have we had of former governors, except for, say, Yahaya and a few others who perhaps, you know, had to go through the whole hog. So for me, it's a shameful thing. That's just the way I would describe it. And I think that any right-thinking person should be alarmed, should be concerned. And I'm surprised that my brother is talking about judicial ping pong. That's perhaps is the challenge that we have. The challenge we have is that we make a mockery of very serious issues. And these things are the things that diminish us as a people in the eye of people who live in the light.
All right, so let's look at some of the things that, because it's quite difficult to make sense of what is going on. And he's mentioned a few things as is concerned, as far as it's concerned, before Justice Nwite. But the question I want to ask is, they are insisting that he has to show up. I mean, former Governor Yahaya Bello. And the challenge is it that they want him to come and take a plea on this particular issue? Can his lawyers represent him? I just want you to make sense of the judicial implication of what is going on.
If it's not Yahaya Bello, what is the process? The process is very clear. while investigation is on, you are invited or you are arrested. So, and as we speak now, Yahaya Bello is not a governor. He's an odd, if you like the use of that word, he's an ordinary Nigerian. And he should go through the proper process of, he's been invited by a law enforcement agency, recognized by, by our laws to do so. He has no right to continue to prevaricate and throw up all kinds of bottlenecks around going to answer for things that you did while in office. If there is an allegation against you, it remains an allegation. EFCC saying you did this, you go there and said, no, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. You can't sit in your home and begin to, hoist regime of excuses why you will not do that. You are setting a very bad precedent and example that we should not tolerate. And I think, like I said, the Nigerian Bar Association and every other, civic group and organizations who are involved in ensuring that our country is cleansed from the kind of mess that we are seeing must also raise a voice against the behavior, indeed the misbehavior of Mr. Yahaya Bello.
So, again, let me backtrack. We know how easy it is. In fact, they will tell you when the police or any law enforcement agency, when they want to do their work, they do it. They go over and beyond. So let's backtrack a bit. Why is it difficult? And thankfully, you're someone who's well-versed in the political space. You've watched politicians in and out for years. Why is it difficult to arrest or invite a man? Because it looks funny when you hear some of the things the EFCC chairman had to say, and you wonder, other people do not enjoy this kind of laxity and the rest. He's innocent until proven guilty, absolutely. But the law is quite clear. We've seen law enforcement agents and agencies do these things easily without even batting an eyelid. So what is at play here that they may not be talking about? Mr. Wagu.
What is at appeal is that there is the governor of Kogi State, the current governor of Kogi State, is providing cover for Mr. Yahaya Bello. It's as simple as that. Everyone knows that he is holed up in the facilities of the Kogi State government, and I think that governor must know that it's perhaps not a very distinguished behavior to continue to do that. That's not the only place where that happened. It happened in Port Harcourt when this current governor of Rivers State was also being looked for by EFCC. He was holed up in the government house, and because of the sacredness of that facility, the security agents may not have the leeway to do that if it was in a private residence, and is as simple as that. So the pretensions to the contrary is what. So those who have responsibility should weigh in, and that it should not now only be the responsibility of just Mr. Lukaide and his folks in the EFCC. I think the IG, I think all the DSS, everyone should cooperate at this point in time to ensure that Mr. Yahaya Bello is arrested. So it's the protection that he has from his protege in the Kogi government house that has put us in the kind of imbroglio that we have found ourselves.
You know, the truth, Mr. Nwago, is the fact that this thing is very simple, but the personality involved and how it's being played is what is making it look convoluted. Another concern we have, and I heard the EFCC chairman say yesterday, that when they laid siege to maybe take him, to detain him and arraign him the next day in court, that he had about 30 policemen and 10 counter-terrorism unit officials, including a top DSS official as a CSO. Why would a former governor have all of this level of security? I just needed to speak to that.
Well, you know how this has been, and it's been a concern, and it's been a worry. The big pockets appropriate security, the security apparatus that is supposed to use for the generality of Nigerians. And when I say big pockets, it's just the play. It has nothing to do with his former position. It has more to do with cronyism and patronage system that that runs even in the security architecture of our country. How can you explain that? That is why I said we should unpack it, and the way to unpack it is to bring in the IG. IG, tell those your folks to get out of that place. And the DSS people, let us not be territorial at this point. Why would the security agencies provide security for somebody who is a fugitive to the law? If it is not, to undermine one agency or the other, and that's that territorialism that you have. Since it is not the police that is the one involved, and it's not the DSS that is the one involved, let's not allow EFCC to take a shine. It's always about that territorialism. And the earlier there is a coordination, collaboration to make sure that, because the example that this brings is important, that nobody is above the law. And I think that while in office, Mr. Yahaya portrayed himself as that person who will be above the law, and nobody should allow that to happen. Because if it happens, there are other, governors, there are other people in public office who will take a cue from this and challenge, legitimate systems of getting them to account for, their role in public office. And we should not allow that to happen.
As we wind down, this is obviously, as you said, an example, but also to the people, because the people see how these things are going on, and you wonder what is going through their mind. Obviously, they see that, okay, institutions that seem powerful maybe are not as powerful eventually. But whatever the case is, I want you to end by calling out, you've talked about the IGP, but also calling out other people that probably should be partnering with the EFCC or be speaking up on this, and we've not seen them doing that so far. Wherever he is, there's probably a security operative, one or two there, who answer to someone, but they're providing protection. Again, he's innocent until proven guilty. So, Mr. Wagu, who are those people that need to be getting involved and ensuring that nobody is seemed above the law?
The first is our constituency, and that is why the meeting that the EFCC chairman had yesterday was very profound and important. He had to rally the civil society organizations and groups and the media to say, look, you need to lend a voice to this, because you are very critical. Your voice is strong. Your voice is powerful to make sure that this kind of impunity does not continue. The Nigerian Bar Association must come very strong at this point in time, must do all that is necessary. If it even means ensuring that he does not get defense until he answers to the EFCC, that would be quite all right. Our traditional institutions and religious, who are very loud during elections, it is also time to speak up. Use your platforms to, ensure that the environment is not suitable for people who behave in the manner that Yahaya Bello has behaved. And then, more importantly, is the security agencies themselves. There should be coordination. There should be mutual respect and, engagement in a way that does not allow this kind of behavior and the kind of fugitive to the law situation that we are seeing with Yahaya Bello. If the police wants him arrested today, like you said, Kayode, they will arrest him. He will be arrested this morning, and nothing. They will get him out. But because of this play, cronyism, patronage system, and always wanting to defer to big pockets and control, that is why you have the situation that you have. But if we put all of this behind us, Mr. Yahaya Bello will have his day in court.
Well, I think it's as simple as that, but not always anyway. But we hope that the right things are done in this one. Mr. Wagu, we're glad we're able to get a hold of you this early in the morning before you get started on your day. He's the Convener Say No campaign chairman, Partners for Electoral Reform. Thank you so much for your time on the Morning Brief.
I appreciate you. Thank you so very much, and have a beautiful day.